I have surprises when I cover teams very often. Usually I'm not that far off with not so much predictions, but kind of an understanding of where teams sit with respect to each other. And I got to tell you, I did not see the Bucs coming out here without Mike Evans, without Bucky Irving, right? With a lot of things going on behind the scenes, you know, including a kicker who had stomach illnesses. And then getting into this mad scramble shootout affair, I guess maybe that part wasn't that, or surprising, I guess. But to win again, okay, the fourth win now in the final minute is just unbelievable. And the Bucs did that coming out here to Seattle and then winning just a shootout of a game. What was it, 38-35, I think?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was the final. And literally I guess it's about before halftime, you realized that Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, former teammates in Carolina, both discarded from their own teams that they were drafted by, both coached by Todd Bowles, by the way, because Bowles drafted Darnold 3 overall. They just got into this crazy shootout where every possession ended in a touchdown. Like, it was insane. I think Seattle had 5 possessions in a row with touchdowns.
I think there were 7 straight drives in the game with a touchdown.
In the game, there were 7 in a row. Yeah. I've not seen that. Like, scoring, sure, but every one a touchdown? They were just up and back. I mean, and play after play, like big plays, And we'll get into the rookie of the year, and he's got a pretty big lead, I think. He was the rookie of the month, the rookie of the year now, Emeka Egbuka.
He might be all pro. Forget rookie of the year.
At this point, yeah. He could be the MVP if they win the Super Bowl. I mean, let's be honest. Who knows? But, coming back home to Washington, he's from Tacoma, just putting on a show, career high in yards, and, of course, a touchdown, and just, play after play after play.
Well, he and Smith and Jigba, who are friends and teammates at Ohio State, just going back and forth all game. That was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch, and my God, is that receiver you or what? What talents they've had there at Ohio State to play receiver, and still do, by the way.
And the funny thing is they don't have good quarterbacks coming out. I mean, the receivers, if you go Marvin Harrison, Jeremiah Smith's going to be the next one.
Right.
And Chris Henry Jr. there now.
Mm-hmm.
Terry McLaurin. I mean, go through the list in the NFL of Ohio State receivers. It's incredible.
Right.
I mean, it's LSU may have the top end ones and Jefferson and Neighbors and Chase, but Ohio State may have more.
I don't discount what you're saying. I mean, it's just they've been so deep and so good. And what I liked about this game as well is that with all that offense, with everything that was going, it seemed like whoever had the ball last was going to win, and he did. But the only way he got it was the oldest man on the field at 35 and in his 14th NFL season intercepted a pass that was kind of deflected.
And went off Logan Hall's helmet.
Logan Hall's helmet from Sam Darnold with the score tied in 53 seconds remaining. And I'm telling you, that was one of the most surprising turnovers I've ever seen. Like, for all the world, it looked like all Darnold needed to do this time was get him in a field goal range. You need about 20 yards or so, maybe 30, and they'd have a shot to win the game. And then another smart play, we'll just go through it.
I was going to say, well, what may have been the most surprising about that play is the Bucs actually got a pass rush.
Well, they did, yeah, exactly.
Which is why the pass went off the helmet.
Yeah, they got a little pressure on him, and that did not happen for almost all the game, or all the season for that matter. And then really smart play on third down by Rachaad White. He's got a 3rd and 7. He runs for 12 yards. And we saw what happened in Houston where the Bucs, allowed the running back to score, Chubb to score, and he got the ball back. This time, Rachaad very alertly got down after 12 yards because he's in field goal range, and that set up Chase McLaughlin's 39-yard game-winning field goal as time expired. And the thing about even McLaughlin had a story because he was added to the injury report on Saturday with an illness, which was actually a stomach virus of some kind. And even though there was no designation, he did play in the game, but certainly wasn't feeling well. Made all 3 of his field goals, including the game winner. And the guys were funny after the game. They compared it to like Michael Jordan's flu game. He goes, "This is flu game." He was 3 for 3. But I mean, what do you say about a team that has this penchant for, you know, getting the ball in Baker Mayfield's hand when they need it the most, and then them putting together drives and winning? I mean, if not for a deflected pass, maybe they come back and beat the Eagles, who, by the way, uh, they lost to Denver. There are now no undefeated teams in the NFL. Congratulations to 72 Dolphins. You guys are now drinking champagne somewhere in South Florida.
On October 5th, you're doing it.
Really early, right?
Yeah, extremely early.
It might not have even been on ice yet. They're like, whoa, 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 hey, hey, did we get these? But yeah. So just incredible for the Bucs to be sitting here at 4-1. These teams combined for 73 points, and Seahawks scored touchdowns on 5 consecutive possessions. The Bucs nearly matched them with 4 out of 5. These numbers for Mayfield and Darnold were incredibly similar. I mean, like, when I say throw for throw, like almost identical. Mayfield 29 of 33 for 379 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. His passer rating was 137.4. Darnold was 28 of 34, so one more pass attempt, one fewer completion. 341 yards, which is 30 something less. 4 touchdowns, but then the big interception, and still had a rating of 135.4. It was higher than Baker Mayfield's because of all the touchdowns. So you get on a plane, you travel 3,092 miles without your top 2 players. And then, in the loudest outdoor stadium, they had decibel readings of like 106. I mean, it was incredibly loud. And your young rookie Egbuka goes crazy. Your quarterback continues to resurrect his career and be the calmest guy under pressure in the league. I just thought it was one of their better wins, and when I say not this year, like ever. I don't think that's. I mean, this Seattle team's really good. Now they got lots of injuries. Their secondary is obliterated. You think the Bucs have injuries? These guys, their entire secondary, and it showed, right? When you give up that many points, you're completing a hell of a lot of balls. But it's hard. It's hard to go on the road. It's even harder to go this far on the road, and against a good team. When you're missing so many key pieces. And now, with respect to Bucky Irving, I wrote a post in the morning. He showed up on the injury report on Wednesday with a little extra addition there. It wasn't just the foot. Also, he has a subluxed shoulder, and that might be more of a concern than the foot at this point. But both of them are supposed to take about the same amount of time. So we're looking at another at least 2 weeks, I believe, before we'll see Bucky Irving. And Rashad White did some nice things, and obviously you're going to get Sean Tucker more involved and that sort of stuff. But it's not ideal, and to continue to win this way, despite the injuries, despite everything that's going on, I think this team is just like very resilient, very mature. They follow their quarterback, who makes plays in the clutch. Their kicker is now straightened out. He's making kicks in the clutch, like. They're doing everything they need to do to win games, and not traditional, not the way they want to do it. Like, they only had 56 yards rushing, which is abysmal. And most of those, or I think the majority of those, might have been Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
They didn't stop the run, which they usually do.
I was going to say they gave up a lot more than
122 yards on the ground for a team that's in its top 5 in rush defense. They did so many things that aren't what they are, and yet they got the last shot. They drained the last shot.
Yep. Well, they won the turnover battle,
yeah,
which they rarely do.
Correct.
And they got the fumble and then the interception late.
That's correct.
And so that's really what won them the game. It's really incredible. Field Yates had tweeted this earlier today. The Bucs have held a lead for just 35% of the snaps in the fourth quarter. They're 4-1.
It's crazy, man. It's just insane.
I don't know if it's sustainable, and I was asked that a few weeks ago. But knowing how to
keep sustaining it.
But knowing how to come back in those moments and not let the moment become too big, and not succumbing to the pressure. Like, they're not always going to be successful. You don't think they will be every time they try, but knowing how to handle that situation, knowing that you've done it before, gives you a lot more confidence. And particularly in your quarterback, that. You never think you're out of a game, ever.
Well, and against better teams, if you get into the postseason, right, and you're playing these games, whether they're home or on the road, they're gonna be close games. You're gonna
Yep.
have to make plays under pressure. You're gonna have to, go down the field with little time and a few years ago when the Bucs beat Philadelphia, then went to Detroit, they were a Baker Mayfield 2-minute drive away from winning that game, and he ended up throwing an interception on first down, you know? Today's Baker Mayfield probably wouldn't. But again, you're gonna have to play under pressure, and where is there more pressure than in the postseason? I mean, they're the first team. I keep throwing these stats at us. They're unbelievable. They're the first team in NFL history with 4 wins by 3 or fewer points in their first 5 games of the season. So however old the NFL is, no team besides the Bucs have won 4 games by 3 or fewer points in their first 5. Just never happened. So, um, it is a testament to their poise and to the quarterback. Um, you know, I think they're a good team, and with Philadelphia getting beat, I don't if the Bucks don't come out and just and we can get into special teams, which is still abysmal, but in a different direction. If they don't come out and just play poorly on special teams, give up block kicks and things like that, they could have beaten Philadelphia. I think it's just the way they started that game, got them so far behind. It took so much to dig out of it, and then Baker threw a fourth quarter interception, his only interception of the year. Um, you can't tell me that this guy hasn't been great this year with the football because he only has 1 pick all season, and he's among the lead leaders, with touchdowns and yards now and things like that. So he's stepped his game up to an extremely high level, even higher than last season. Maybe not as many yards, but certainly touchdowns to interceptions. So happy flight home for those guys, man. I mean, it's a long way to come. They didn't come out early. Some teams come out on Friday. They came out on Saturday. You're waking up at about 4 or 5 a.m. because you're on East Coast time and your clock can really screw you up. And it was an interesting day in Seattle because the Mariners were playing right after the Seahawks, right next door, and I guess they ended up winning, I believe.
They won 3-2. Yep, tied that series at 1 game apiece.
And I'll tell you what's interesting. So coming out of there, I'm coming out just as that game's starting to end, and I've come out of games at Raymond James, and little Steinbrenner Field was lit up, and there was their usual 8 to 10,000, right? And you can sometimes hear the crowd. Buddy, there was nothing like hearing that sold out crowd in Seattle Stadium when stuff was happening. I had no idea what was happening, but it's one of the coolest feelings in the world to hear this enormous crowd, and you can hear the angst and like ooh hey, and then wow, just the unbelievable din of noise. Pretty neat, thinking there's playoff baseball right there. So that was fun, and I didn't see a pitch. Didn't see a pitch. It was a big sports weekend in Seattle.
It was, and we'll get into baseball probably later this week. But how about the Yankees giving up 24 runs in their first 2 games against the Blue Jays? Down 0-2
Well,
now.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. They lost 11 or 10-1, 11-1, and today was 13-7. So
Yeah, I think pitching has been an issue for them a good part of the year, and Toronto's almost done this wire to wire, haven't they? In the AL East.
I mean, no, they weren't. I mean, Yankees were leading early in the season. The Rays were leading at one point.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, the second half of the year, yes, they got on a huge run and then took command of the division. But
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Well, it would be disappointing for them, for the Yankees, if they can't get advance. That's for sure.
it'd be really disappointing. Really disappointing.
And for baseball because you lost New York.
Yeah, they already
So-
knocked Boston out because New York and Boston had to play each other. So
Right. So this is not going well in the ratings game at this point. But that's what they call it, baseball.
Yeah. But how about?
So-
I mean, some of the records Egbuka is setting now.
Oh my God,
Like
this kid.
And Tez Johnson actually had a really good day too. By the way,
Tez had a breakout day. Even
Yeah.
though Tez doesn't like Washington, he says he doesn't like Washington because he went to Oregon.
Yeah.
He's from the Pacific Northwest too, and that was
Yep.
what was cool about Egbuka coming back
mm-hmm.
was that this is his hometown. I
Yep.
mean, he grew up. He played in Tacoma. He was baseball and a football player. Could have been playing for the Mariners
Yeah.
when you think about it. But yeah, just more receiving records.
Egbuka is the first player in NFL history with 25 receptions, 400
Right.
receiving yards, 5 receiving TDs in first 5 career games.
Yeah.
First one ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tez Johnson, Kate Otten sighting.
Kate Otten showed up. They got the
Yeah.
ball to him. Yeah.
Last year when Evans and Godwin and them went down, he started stepping up and had a huge role in the offense.
He was a man. He one
Yep.
game, I think the first game that they were out, he had 10 catches for over
Yep.
100 yards, and he had like 8 for over 100. Like,
Yep.
he was balling. So yeah, it was good to see him come back into the passing game. And part of that, quite frankly, is because they've got Wirfs back. You know, having some of your offensive line where you don't have to worry about every play having to tie in to chip or to, staying in block and that sort of thing, gives Otten a chance to get out into pass coverage and stuff like that. So, yeah, he had a nice game, and it was
And
back
Rashad
in
White.
Washington for him.
Rashad White filling in for Irving.
Yeah, Rashad's a good, if not great player. He's a very steady player. He runs very hard now. He never used to he used to have this sort of Le'Veon Bell hesitation thing, where it just wasn't physical. And Skip Pete and others convinced him, hey, look, you're a big back. Like, you're 6 foot, 214 pounds or so, 212, 214 pounds. You need to use that load and run through people, run violently. And he wasn't. He wasn't running violently. He's got about the best hands of any running back I've seen. I mean, this guy can really catch the ball like a receiver with his hands. He's outstanding. And if you get him the ball in space, like a lot of running backs, but especially him, he'll make the first guy miss. Like, he's going to, if it's one-on-one, the guy's probably not going to take him down. So Rashad has his role, and I think he complements, what Irving does. But when you make him the lead guy, now it's like, he's not quite as dynamic or explosive as, say, Bucky Irving, or creative. Things have to be blocked up pretty well for him to succeed. But love him as a receiver. He had a couple of touchdown runs. He played big. All those guys that got to play played really big. I mean, it was impressive. This was the 12s, as they call them in the stadium, were going crazy, and it was loud, and it was, there's many, many times that they could have said, well, this isn't happening today, including the first couple drives ended up in field goals. But yeah, there's a quiet confidence about this group. And the other thing is, if they survive this gauntlet of games, and look, I did not have them winning this game, even from the beginning, but certainly not after the injuries they've had. But, you're going to come home and play a wounded San Francisco team, right, that just lost to the Jaguars not too long ago. And I don't know that, they're going to have their starting quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of guys out, including George Kittle and some others. So you got an opportunity there with San Francisco. They beat you last year at Raymond James and probably shouldn't have. I think you gave that game away. And then after San Francisco, I want to say they go to Detroit and then New Orleans. And, did New Orleans get its first win? I believe they did. I'm not sure.
Yes, the Jets are the only winless team.
The Jets are the winless team. Good Lord. So New Orleans got their win, but I think that's one that, you should pencil in the W column. So they're almost through this gauntlet. And then let me promise you, not that any game is guaranteed, because injuries and just teams playing bad happen in this league. But after that, the league, schedule shifts a little bit, and it becomes much easier, at least on paper. And so 4-1, they've probably been 4-1 as a franchise like a handful of times. I think it was listed, maybe 5, 6 or so. So this is rare air.
As long as it's not 6-7.
6, 7, yeah. And my kids got me for that one, over and over again. But as for the longest time, it's you just don't see this kind of start from them. They would have been 3-1 3 times, I think, under Bowles. Now they're 4-1. Best record, tied the best record in the NFC and in all of football.
In football, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no undefeated teams.
I mean, I'm curious, people have had them in the power rankings anywhere from 5 to 9 or so. I'm curious what they'll think, what they'll think of Baker.
I'm curious where Baker is in the MVP rankings at this point.
Well, I mean, look,
Buffalo lost now. Josh Allen
is not undefeated, yeah, and that was a bad game for him and for the for the Bills at
By the
home.
way, how about Mike Vrabel turning New England around?
Yeah, that's a culture. Like, what I told you, there's coaches that good play callers, and then there's the culture guys.
Yep.
And sometimes you'll get two, like an Andy Reid, that are both. Vrabel didn't call plays, but boy, is he a culture guy. He sets the tone as if he were still playing, and no one's going to cross him. He's going to get these guys, playing the right way, and it's come together pretty early. But I hope it helps to have a quarterback. I mean, Drake May is really good, I think. I think he
Yeah.
can really ball.
He's showing that. I mean, he went into Buffalo and won.
Yeah. I mean, that just doesn't happen, and the defense played well.
Yes.
So that division, all of a sudden, you got a race. You got a race in that division.
Mm-hmm.
It's not over. It's a long season. I guess that's the lesson. We're 5 weeks into it, and for all the world, like, you're starting to see teams that you thought were going to jump out and stay on top, and now they're coming back to the pack. Because the first few weeks are just kind of a liar. But the Bucs have consistently put themselves in position to win, and they've won. And I think I don't discount, winning the way they're winning, because, like I said, you have to have a certain ability to calm yourself down and execute in those pressure situations. And that's what playoff football always is.
Yep.
So, while on one hand you can say, well, wow, they really flirt with disaster and they're on the margins against bad teams like the Jets and Atlanta and different things. You go, yeah, but when they're in those situations, they always come through. They've had lots of practice at it. And that's what you're going to get in the postseason at some point.
Yep.
If you're lucky enough to be in games.
That doesn't worry me about the team. What worries me is the pass rush. Because they did very little to address it. They did very little to address it in the offseason. Added one guy. I think Hassan Reddick's a good guy. Like, I'm not discounting him, but, like, we've all known that the pass rush was an issue. Yeah. And they probably needed more than one guy. Now, David Walker got hurt too. You'd hoped he was going to be part of that.
Walker would have made a big difference, I think. But you drafted Chris Braswell a year ago. What has he done?
Yep.
Is
Yaya Diaby really a starting defensive end in this? Or
he hasn't proven it, Steve.
In this? I mean,
he has not proven it.
He shows flashes.
Right, but that's not. So did Joe Tryon-Shoyinka.
Well, I was just going to bring him up.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't make you a good edge rusher, much less one that was drafted as high as those guys were.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard position to find. It's hard to produce because there's a lot of attention paid to those guys.
Yep.
And those tackles get paid a lot of money to block their ass.
Mm-hmm. But I know the secondary takes a lot of crap for, giving up as much as they did today. But to be honest, they were on the field too much. They were, like, if you get no pass rush, the secondary can't cover everybody. It can't. The route trees, the patterns, the receivers are too good. When you give a quarterback that much time, receivers are going to be open, no matter how good your secondary is.
Even a third string quarterback will pick you apart if you don't get pressure on them. I mean, they're too good.
I mean, they have 8 sacks in 5 games.
That's horrible. But somehow, when the season is over, Todd Bowles will dial up enough pressure that he'll get between 45 and 50 sacks every year.
Like I said, the interception, they got pressure on
the guy in his face.
Darnold. He wasn't throwing it, in rhythm, and it threw off the helmet of Logan Hall for Lavonte David to intercept.
That's right.
I mean, when it mattered most, they did get some pressure, but when you're going against Detroit and San Francisco, like, you're flirting with disaster when you can't get a pass rush.
Right.
And it doesn't have to all be sacks, but the quarterback's got to feel pressure. The quarterback's got to throw off rhythm too early. Not balanced on the run, and we don't see enough of that. And that's what worries me about this Bucs team going forward. Like, with Wirfs back, the offense looks a hell of a lot better. Baker and Egbuka is phenomenal. Godwin will continue to get better. Kate Otten now you're showing in the offense. Like, offensively, I think they're fine.
I think
you'll get Bucky Irving back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and Mike.
Yeah. And so, the offense is fine. Defense, I think, I like Benjamin Morrison. I like Jacob Parrish. I like a lot, what they've done in the secondary. Still not sold on Savracier Dennis. I don't think he's shown much.
No.
And they just don't have a pass rush. And that's going to be the Achilles heel on this team if they have issues going forward.
Yeah, and it's a shame too because when healthy, and of course both Dean and Morrison were out,
Mhm.
but when healthy, their corners are actually a strength of their team now.
Yes, yes.
Parrish has done an unbelievable job, and Morrison can really play, and you need Jamel healthy, and if you had all that going for you, you'd feel really good about what's out there. But you're right. To your point, they can't cover, forever. They've got to get some help up front. And those guys are not growing on trees. It just has seemed to be one of those organizational flaws where they just can't find you know, the right people.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And the best edge rushers, like I've said, that they've ever had were both free, not ever, but on this era of Buccaneers with Jason Light, they were both free agents. They were older free agents. It was
Mhm.
Jason Pierre-Paul,
Yep.
and then it was Shaq Barrett, who was cut adrift in Denver because he's playing behind four really good players. And we're still waiting for that Bucs outside linebacker to come in here and actually, win, just be the dude,
Yep.
because they keep drafting them. That's the one I would say there's a lot of success that Jason Light has had in the draft. I mean, he's built
Mhm.
this team as well as any team, maybe this side of Philadelphia, with his good friend Howie Roseman. But for the life of it,
Yep.
there's there's a position or two that he just can't master, and one of those is edge rusher. Just
Yep.
has not happened.
But it's one of the most important positions, and
Oh, huge.
that's the frustrating part. But overall, the Bucks are 4-1.
You could not have asked for a better outcome. I mean, you could say, well, I thought they'd go 5-0, but you'd be lying, right? With all,
The honest truth is they had a shot to go 5-0. I mean,
oh, they did.
don't get
Absolutely,
a
they
punt
did.
blocked. Don't get off to the bad start and don't get a punt blocked against Philly, and maybe you win.
Exactly. Exactly right. They're that close. They're that close. But I'll tell you, throwbacks or no, whatever, like this was this was a huge game for them. Now, if they turn around and they're too high in the saddle and then, they get beat, the next week, then that won't help anybody. But I think San Francisco's beat up. I think you have a real good opportunity to now they're flying a long ways. But both, it's weird because both the Seahawks and the Niners will have had 10 days off before they play the Bucs.
That's rough.
So it's hardly as fair. They
But
were fortunate.
at least this one's at home, though.
It's at home, and they were fortunate that Seattle had as many injuries as they did, or it would have
Yep.
been really unfair.
Mhm.
So yeah, win, win, win. All they do, no matter what, right? So it's pretty impressive. They'll be back today watching film, practice on Wednesday, and then the next game is at home against the 49ers next Sunday. I believe that's a 1:00 game. I'm not sure. Maybe they'll flex it out. We'll have to see.
I think it was
But
flexed. It was it
there
was
was
flexed to
there was some
425. It got moved to 425 last week. Yep.
425. Yeah, there you go. There was some really entertaining games at the end of the day. I thought some surprises, right, in the NFL.
Yeah, no question about it.
Yeah.
And some
So
controversy too. I mean, you had field goals hitting the wires for the sky cams, and
I always love that, man. It's just weird. The whole Skycam technology.
yeah,
I mean, aren't we past the cables? Can we not just do drones at this point? Can somebody fly that damn thing? I don't know.
it's a good point.
You know,
I wonder if they worry about how steady it would be, though. I think that would
I
probably be
just
the
I
issue.
don't know how they're not knocking down passes, much less punts
Well,
or
they
kicks.
position it behind,
I
but
know. I'm just
obviously the
saying.
wire got not right. But
Yeah, it just looks weird. All right, we still got plenty of stuff. College football and what in the heck is going on between Florida and the Lightning? How many penalty minutes can you roll up? But first, get on down to Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. That's where you're going to find the beautiful watches for men and women. The Breitling Company been in business now for 140 years. They've been at International Plaza for more than 5 years, and the customer service is second to none. That's where you're going to be treated like a professional athlete or a celebrity that you are. Go in, sit down, have a drink, learn about these great timepieces. And we're talking about for men's watches, the Chronomats, the Navitimers, women's watches. These are sports watches. They are beautiful, durable, and she has an array of different colored wristbands she can choose from. And right now, they're celebrating the NFL's anniversary, about 105 years worth, I think, with 32 different team watches for the NFL. For men, they're Chronomat watches. They have the I guess the color or the team's color is on the face of the watch, along with the logo inside. It's unbelievable. Check them out. They had a couple in the store, in the window last time I was by International Plaza Mall. It's Brightening Boutique. And when you go there, please let them know that you heard about it here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. I did get to Seattle in time to watch the Florida game, and I must say, I'm not sure how they've lost so many games because there's some really good players, not the least of which, and maybe this is what they were waiting for. That freshman receiver that played his first game,
Dallas
oh
Wilson
my
from Tampa
God.
Tech.
Yeah, Dallas Wilson. Holy cow. That guy looks like Calvin Johnson out there at this stage.
Yeah, he's had a foot injury the first 4 games, which is why he didn't play.
Yeah.
And boy, did they miss him.
Yeah.
And he hadn't played there before, so they didn't know how much they missed him, but boy, did they miss him.
He's unbelievable.
He was fantastic.
I mean, it's funny how, talent around you will make you a better quarterback, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All of a sudden, DJ Lagway's like doing real nice. It's like, but the defense, I'll give Florida credit. Like their defense is no joke. They're for real.
Absolutely. And they have been all year. And it's the strength of their team. And, not really sure how good Arch Manning is at this point.
I'm not either. He just, for all the world, I just look at body language and it just seems to me like he's pressing. Like he's so over his skis and he knows it. It's not that he can't play. It's just that he can't relax and play.
Well, and he he played like 7 or 8 games in his college career. It's not like
that's true.
A grizzled veteran.
That's true.
But he's got the last name Manning, so everyone expects him to be.
Yeah, the expectations are eating him alive at this point. There were some other bad guys. What the hell happened to Penn State, man? Big game, James. Are you kidding me, James Franklin?
So it was talked about a lot here in Tampa Bay, and obviously, on this podcast, that Dave Canales, when he was hired as the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, hadn't called a play since high school, like 15 years prior.
That's right.
Big deal was made of that, and he struggled a little bit early in the season, but by the end of the season, obviously, was really great. Became a head coach.
Good enough.
Jerry Neuheisel, who became the offensive coordinator 4 days ago for UCLA,
right,
had never called a play in his life. He said he was talking on the headset to the quarterback, and half the time it wasn't on, and he thought he was calling a play, but it didn't have it on to the headset.
Wow.
And you beat Penn State.
It's
first time in 40 years an 0-4 team beat a top 10 team.
And I mean, you can say, well, trap game, looking ahead. Come on, man. We are Penn State. We are James Franklin. Cannot beat a ranked opponent. You'd think you'd at least continue your streak against the really bad teams.
Well, what did I see? Interim coach, whoever the interim coach at UCLA is, has as many wins against top 10 teams in the Big Ten as James Franklin does.
Oh, is that right? Oh, my God.
I saw that. I'm not 100% sure it's
That's
accurate,
pretty funny, actually.
But it can't be that far off.
No, it really can't. It really can't.
Yeah.
They may not get to their usual 10-8 this year.
Yep.
And
then Miami took care of Florida State.
Oh, man, that game was good for about 6 minutes when Florida State's drive bogged down.
Yep.
And then it looked like one of the more non-entertaining games I've ever watched. It just never felt like Florida State had a chance in that game. Even though they scored some points late, it didn't feel that way to me.
I was watching it with some Florida State fans.
Yeah.
And before the game, I think Florida State's got a real good shot this game. I was like, I said their offensive and defensive line isn't good enough. Miami's just too good. And, we've seen that all year from Miami. Like, in the trenches, they win.
Oh, yeah, they beat you up.
Yep.
They absolutely beat you up.
And I think Florida State's a good team, but I just think Miami's, as far as in the trenches, it's going to take. There ain't many teams in football that can beat them. Consistent. I mean, you can get a game here and there, but they're one of the best teams in college football, no question.
Well, outside of Ohio State, they may be the best team, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, Oregon's going to play Indiana this week. That'll be another top 10 matchup.
Yeah.
We'll see how good they are.
I think the only other Florida
those
school,
are the top 3. Those
the
are
only
the top
other
3
Florida
teams.
School that's ranked is USF.
Yes, back in the poll now. What, 24?
24.
Yeah.
How about that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they took care of business. Although actually didn't play that great. They turned it over 4 times.
Yeah, they were sloppy. They got off to a really big lead, but they
Yep.
just didn't. They didn't do the little things.
Yep.
Which I'm sure Alex Golesh is incredibly ticked about.
They have another Friday night game this week. This time on the road at North Texas. So they're stepping up in competition level.
Yeah, go pick up those game day checks, boys.
Yep.
But I don't know that there's a team in their conference that's going to beat them.
Well, Memphis is ranked 1 spot ahead of them.
Are they? Okay.
Yep, and they'll play at Memphis later this year.
You run the table, though, in this conference. You're
But
definitely
they run the
gonna be
table
in
and win the tournament they're in. I mean, no question.
They're in, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your only loss would be at Miami.
Right, and you played a gauntlet of 3 ranked teams when you played them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, if they run the table, I mean, they could even slip up somewhere along the road. They just have to win the conference championship.
No, it's been a good start for them. It's good to see Miami back. I'm kind of disappointed. I thought Florida State, with the quarterback and just, beating Alabama, that would kind of signify that they're for real. And it turns out they're not really that good. I can't explain why, but they're not. The games that I've watched anyway. All right, so let's talk about this Florida Lightning jail fest, or what the hell's going on there. So we talked the other day. There was that one game.
Yeah, Thursday night.
Yeah.
At Benchmark International Arena.
Okay.
The Panthers came in, and within the first 6-7 minutes, AJ Greer hit Brendan Hagel, cross-checked him, and then sucker punched him twice. And then all hell broke loose in that game. 186 penalty minutes given out in that game.
Jeez.
But I think only one player was thrown out of the game.
That don't seem right.
So then you go to Sunrise on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And both teams, most of the top guys were not playing in this game. Both teams called up guys from their AHL affiliate.
Really?
And just over 2 minutes into the game, Scott Sabrin took a run at Aaron Ekblad, boarded him, and then decked him a couple times and put him on the ice.
Can't do that, right? That's not a good thing.
He was immediately thrown out of the game, 5-minute major, thrown out of the game.
Jeez.
He's got a hearing with the Department of Player Safety today, by the way. So Saturday's game, 322 penalty minutes.
What?
16 players thrown out of the game.
Who was left to play?
There were times in the third period there were more players in the penalty box than on the bench.
Jeez.
It was an ugly, ugly game.
In an ugly, ugly series, it just keeps getting uglier. What are they going to do to turn this around?
Well, you hope that when they meet in November, that because it's a regular season game and things actually matter, that maybe it calms down a little bit. Like you said, Saturday, there was a lot of AHL players playing, maybe trying to make marks. But J.J. Moser also has a hearing with the Department of Player Safety today, which means he could be suspended for the season opener.
They need to send a strong message, no matter who it's to. You can't be doing this. I mean, it's physical enough, right?
Yeah, and but
I mean, somebody's career is going to be jeopardized here before long.
Yeah, so Zemgus Girgensons left the game hurt.
Right.
And so did Aaron Ekblad for Florida. No update on either of their status at this point.
Ekblad's been hurt so much. It's just that's the part of the game. It's artistry when it's played right, but man, when they just drop them and go, it's just so stupid to me. I never liked it.
Well, and I'm not justifying what anyone did, but when officials don't handle situations,
take control, right?
When cheap shots and sucker punches and things like that, not a hockey hit that just went a little too far, got a little too high, not that sucker punch. When you don't handle it properly,
players will.
Then they're going to take it in. Like AJ Greer should have been thrown out of that game Thursday night, and I think everything's a little. I'm not saying it'd been 100% calm, but it'd have been a lot better.
It wouldn't have been so much an eye for an eye,
right?
It just escalates it.
So Hagel is the one who hit Barkov in the playoffs.
Right.
Hagel got suspended for a game.
I remember.
Then Florida targeted him, and Aaron Ekblad got suspended for giving Hagel a concussion.
That's right.
So when they went after Hagel on Thursday, who did the Lightning go after first on Saturday? Aaron Ekblad.
That's it.
Because knocking Hagel out of the playoffs and giving him a concussion apparently wasn't good enough. This is the mentality I don't get.
It's the Wild West, man.
But like I said, once you're allowed to sucker punch the star player, and nothing, he got a 5-minute penalty, but like throw the guy out of the game.
Coyote,
and that's what they tried to do Saturday, but by that point, no one cared anymore. I mean,
well,
it was
that series will be fun this year.
They play 4 times. The first one's November 15th.
The thing is, I just hate the way Florida plays. Like, that's not a Lightning thing. That's a everyday thing with them. I've never seen like that many skilled players that just have forged a franchise that just tries to and or sometimes intimidates its opponent.
Yep.
You know? Like, you're not just going to go out here and play us. We're going to physically beat you and maybe knock you on the IR. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. But we're so T-minus what till we drop them for real?
Well, the NHL starts their season tomorrow night, but the Lightning will be Thursday night.
Thursday?
Against the Ottawa Senators. So 3 days away.
I may have to get young Alexandra and take her to that game. She just loves her samaki. So she'll be happy they're back. Have you been to what are they calling now? It's not the Emily, or what are they calling the building now?
Benchmark International Arena.
Have you been to the bench?
I go there every day.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
What are any physical differences or no?
There's some of the inside. I mean, the club level is now called the Mark.
Okay, gotcha.
They've changed some of that. I mean, there's not drastic changes, but I mean, there's always some food stands and that change. There's always some upgrades of some of the club level stuff, and I mean, there's always tons of stuff going on. So,
yeah. Well, it's been quite a weekend. I mean, we got the hockey, obviously, and then college football, and now the NFL. Yeah. Bucs will host San Francisco. I thought that Baker's arm looked better. I thought he threw the ball with more velocity, which is a good sign.
Well, when you throw over 87% completion percentage, yeah,
that
some
you
bombs
do look
too.
You do look pretty good, yeah. So successful weekend. A 4-1 football team, could be 5-1 when we talk this time next week. See what it takes out of them flying back to Seattle. See what it takes out of me. I've been under the weather. Now I got the proverbial 5:30 a.m. flight. No one cares. I realize this. But we do it for you people, okay? So keep listening. We appreciate that. Keep sending in your questions to Twitter or X at NFL Stroud, at SportsDayTB, or my email address is rstroud@tampabay.com. It is late, and we've all got to get up early, so we appreciate you guys listening. Get on down to Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. Check out all the beautiful watches they have, sports watches, also for your wife, your girlfriend. It's Breitling Boutique International Plaza. Let them know you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. For Steve Versnick, I am Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. Have a great day, everybody.